What up, YouTube? It's your boy Banks, and we back in the building, you feel me? It's True Talks, cause True Talks, alright, let's get straight right into it. Bruh, so you already know, man, this has been a great week in terms of NBA news. Obviously not fully great, because again, it's been breaking that today, yesterday we received news that Klay Thompson has injured his lower right leg. And today's just been breaking news that basically he actually suffered a torn right Achilles. The only positive thing from that is that it's not his left leg, because he's right-handed, his dominant leg. You know, when you go up for the layup, you know what I'm saying? You go up for the layup with your left, and all the explosion is from your left. He actually injured his right. So similar to KD, that's the positive thing if you want to be optimistic. And also there has been reports that the tear that happened is like it's like a clean tear. So it's like he should expect to fully recover. It's one of those type of tears where, it looks like he's going to fully recover and it's going to fully heal when it comes to the Achilles. So, basically, obviously, that's the bad news from this week. Now that the Warriors are obviously coming into all of this type of stuff, that it's like, man, they're going to be back and prominent. And they still will probably be a solid team, but the hopes of them being a contender conference finals, like back to the Warriors obviously gets hit because your second best player in Klay Thompson is now injured, right? So again, and it just sucks for Klay, you know what I mean? So I'll do a video more later on talking about that and how much that affects certain things and all this, that, and the third. But other than that, it's been a great week. It's been a great week for NBA news. Trades officially started on Monday, right? The draft was obviously yesterday, which was Wednesday. And, it's been what, a good 4 days. It's been, a lot of basically drama. This trade. Now that's for just, a lot of the casual fans and the people who kind of just monitor the NBA and they love this time of the year for the NBA. That's what the NBA has become, a full year-round type of cycle, because then you have the regular season with obviously the playoffs and obviously the finals and obviously within the actual season. And then you have the offseason still has its own Game of Thrones-like type of drama with it. So that's been, for Instagram, it's been a whole, wave, So obviously for me, I like the actual game itself. So I just like, these moves in terms of I can envision what's going to happen. And I could see and kind of break down, okay, how are we going to look this year coming in for X, Y, and Z and all these type of teams. But let's first start off with the biggest fish to basically move. Obviously, the first one to move was the Dennis Schroeder trade, which I'll do a video on that. But the main big all-star caliber big fish, to get traded, that kind of was like, whoa, okay, we see you, was definitely the Phoenix Suns making the trade for OKC's Chris Paul. So now you pair Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton in Phoenix. My goodness. And we're going to go and talk about what this trade means. We're going to break down basically what LA looks like, what I think of the trade, how I envision it, both parties of the trade, etc. So let's get right into it. Basically, let me give you that context. Because I give you that context, all right? Let's go. Basically, you already know, it's just the fact that Chris Paul is still a hot commodity. He's 34. People thought he was declining, especially, oh my God, he has a bad contract after the whole, when he went to Houston and he basically showed up. Harden's palms were sweaty. Chris Paul was showing up in that epic 7-game series versus the Golden State Warriors before he got injured in Game 5. And definitely Chris Paul was the one who actually changed that whole series around. And when it looked like, especially from Golden State winning Game 1, and it looked like, okay, Golden State is Golden State. You already know that hoopla that Houston has. Cut it out. But Chris Paul, big time shots, fourth quarter, doing shimmies on Steph, doing the whole nine, you know what I'm saying? And Chris Paul just showing you what elite looks like. When it's that time to get buckets, doing difficult shots from deep, all that type of stuff, man. Chris Paul was just in his big bag, his Duffy. No, not no damn string bag. I'm talking about a Duffy. I'm talking about a duffel. You know what I'm saying? That duffel. He was there. So basically, you know, and then he obviously went down with a big injury in terms of, I think it was a torn or injured, just an injured hamstring or quad or whatever it was. And that obviously he wasn't able to come back, and that changed the trajectory of the series, right? So obviously they still were able to win one game without him, but they won 1 out of a 3 game because it was 3-2, right? They won 1 out of 3 games. So, you know, just in general, this, you know, it was like, oh my goodness. Then after that, they signed Chris Paul after that injury. It's like, okay, might be a bad contract. He might be hindered moving forward, this, that, and that, right? So now when you look at it from that perspective, the next year, he still battled a 1-2 injury, but they didn't do as good as they needed to do, especially with KD going down. They could have beat the Warriors. They didn't beat the Warriors. So it was like, damn. Then obviously the back and forth with Chris Paul and James Harden. And then Chris Paul gets the bad end of the stick. Looks like the bad man. They keep James Harden, obviously. That was mainly his team. Chris Paul came in after. And he's younger and all that type of stuff in prime. So they trade Chris Paul. Looks like bad contract. Trade Chris Paul for Westbrook. And Westbrook and James Harden have their own situation that we'll discuss later. But we're in the next video. But then Chris Paul looks like his value is gone. Looks like, wow, he's in a rebuilding situation. They have to trade him. Go to the Heat. Go to this team. Go to this team. Go to that team. And it's like, what are we going to do? Chris Paul. But what does he do? He shocks everybody and basically makes OKC, who's supposed to be a lottery team, when you trade Paul George, who was a running for MVP that year. You know what I'm saying? He was the runner-up for MVP. You trade Paul George. And then you trade Westbrook, your best 2 players. What team trades their best 2 players and then is not in the lottery? You trade your best 2 players for young players, basically. And then Chris Paul comes and like that, they're the 4th seed, tied with the same Houston team that actually traded him, that was supposed to get better with Westbrook. And yet took them to 7 games. Chris Paul was basically leading the whole regular season and fourth quarter points, just showing you what elite looks like. An all-star, you know what I'm saying? Was an MVP final, one of the top, you know, I think top 5 MVP, because it's like, okay, so he's supposed to be a lottery team, to 4th seed in the West, where you have the Clippers, the Lakers, Denver, Utah, Houston, Mavericks with Luka and them, Bear teams, Portland, and you're 4th? They weren't even supposed to make the playoffs, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, bro, you look at it from that perspective, Chris Paul, just remarkable. And he's been always my favorite point guard since he got drafted into the league. That was actually because me in real life, I'm shorter, I play point guard, etc. He's been my guy. Like, I've been following him from time. And it's always been bad narrative, especially when he went to the Clippers. Bad narrative. Chris Paul not a great teammate. Chris Paul this. Chris Paul that. This, that, and the third, and all this type of stuff. And it's like, y'all don't really understand the game. This guy has the heart and the fire like the Kobe's. Has the heart and the fire like those type of guys. The man's excellence. Leads by example and leads on and off the court. We don't have time for no excuses, that bullshit. You come with the proper energy and I'm going to hold you accountable. You can hold me accountable. You can see it on the court with how he talks. It's that kind of Rondo type of thing. That fire, that like, yo, what are we doing here? I'm a playmaker, I'm going to do it, but you can't score. I'll carry us. Do it how it gets done. But at the end of the day, his instinct is playmaking. So that's why sometimes it's like, okay, go to work. But when you have a guy like Blake Griffin, they say he's the face. Okay, here you go. Playmake. Redick off the, here you go. I'm playmaking still. Even though he should take over. But he shouldn't have to always take over if those guys are who they are. But still, what does he do? They're only in the position that they're even in because he's taking over. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. The one win that they have versus the Spurs. The one series win when they finally get over the hump. The Clippers. Who gets the game winner? Chris Paul. Been giving it to Blake in the post. Getting patted by Ginobili. And, that's when he had no post moves. It's just that one up and under. And those spin. That's all he had. Obviously, he revamped his game now. Blake Griffin. But back then, Zebo was abusing him. All that type of stuff. People are going to make it seem like it's Doc. When you didn't have the person, you had no go-to scorer other than Chris Paul. Really. And then Jamal Crawford, when he came in off the bench, doing his thing. But your star is supposed to be that. DeAndre had no post moves. Blake Griffin, when it mattered, no post moves. And this was back then when the league used to go to the post, high post, low post, mid post, that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So those narratives, again, were false. Obviously, he's a bad teammate in terms of he wants to win so bad, so he's going to hold you to a high standard. He's going to treat you like how he's supposed to be treated in terms of no excuse. What are you doing there? No, let's work out. Take it extra 2 days. What are we doing here? That type of mentality, that type of crazy, mad scientist, work ethic, perfectionist type of mentality in terms of those greats that they normally have. That ilk normally has that. You know what I'm saying? And obviously Blake Griffin is more so, was like a Dwight Howard in terms of his ability is there, but his mental toughness in terms of, I'm going to get to this. I'm that. Or just come and have fun and do whatever. Like that type of character was happening with Blake Griffin. It might not be fully true, but you could see it on the court. You could see it. You could see Chris Paul yelling at Mans, and Mans are just there like nonchalant, not fighting. You know what I mean? That type of stuff was going on, and that's where I already know they're gonna butt heads, right? So Chris Paul gets, again, the bad end of the stick. He's a bad teammate because, again, when you're Chris Paul, and just the same thing like Jimmy Butler, same thing goes like these type of guys. It's harder to find someone who's on the same wavelength as you. And don't get it twisted. Everyone can say, "Oh, I'm on that wavelength. Yeah, I feel you. Yo, let's go." But to actually act it out when you're actually behind the scenes and you're now, I'm here at the gym at 6 a.m., man. Are you going to wake up at 6? Like the action, the actual action. It's all good on the cameras. Oh, that guy, he's a dog. He's a dog. He's a dog. Or when he's on the court, he's yelling when he dunks or whatever. He's a dog. He's a dog. We're talking about real, true dog without the cameras, without the lights, without all of that. You can tell and Chris Paul is that. You can tell and Jimmy Butler is that. You can tell and Kobe is that. You can tell and you know what I'm saying? Westbrook is that. These guys, some of these guys are that. You could just look at it and see. And then some guys' game looks like it's that, but behind the scenes they're not. And obviously that's where the button heads happens. And then the narrative gets painted differently because media's not behind the scenes. Media wants to create a story that's gonna, or one guy says something, they just take his side of the story, and all that, how it goes with the media and the narratives, and then all the casual fans, and mainly the fans. Like there's more casual fans than actual ball head IQ, I know what it is fans. Like you're always outnumbered. So the casual fans go for what media and IG and all what they scroll and see. So that's why Butler, oh my God, he's toxic when he was with the Wolves. Oh my God, he's toxic when he's with and then he's winning with the Sixers. Then he goes to Miami, goes to the finals and is killing. And then look, oh my God, Butler. So y'all are reactors. That's what all it tells me. You have to understand. They only react to the lights, the fans and everybody. They don't actually see what's transpiring. This happened because of this. This happened because of this. Not like, oh my God, media, whatever media says. Anyways, I digressed. But basically what I'm saying is that Chris Paul is of that ilk, that lineage that I'm showing you. Of those dogs, those different breeds built from a different cloth. Damian Lillard, those type of guys. So when they're not working with someone else, I don't really question Chris Paul. I don't question those guys. Normally when they say something or it looks like they don't work out or whatever, I question the other guy. That's how my mind moves. Because a guy like Butler or a guy like Chris Paul, these guys who demand greatness, that's necessity. That's what's needed. That's what's required to be great. Crazy, mad science, work ethic. That's what you need. You know what I'm saying? That's why you can see in the clutch, those are the guys they dog it out. Injured, don't matter. Hobbled, don't matter. Down 15, they grind it out. I'm gonna take over now. They have that mind of never give up, never attitude. Something even similar to even Lowry. You know what I'm saying? Those type of mindsets. That's where you rate and you're like, okay, I rate this guy. If it's not working out in terms of like character or bonding or fights off the court. No, I'm talking about on the court play styles. That's a different discussion. I'm talking about off the court, like Same thing where you see Butler's like, oh my, like fighting with Wiggins and Towns and all this type of stuff. You don't question the Butler. You don't question the guy that seems like he has that seems like, he's being crazy or he's being too hard or he's being too intense. You don't question that guy ever. Intensity is needed. That's what you need. You question the other guy. Oh, so you're actually frail. So he exposed that you're not that guy. That's what that is. You know what I'm saying? That's what that is. And that's how I look at it. So that whole Chris Paul narrative, I already knew it was cap. Now, obviously, he brought resurgence and actually revamped everything in a whole new narrative when he went to OKC. Now no one comes at him with a negative light ever. You know what I'm saying? That's why people are even hyped about this Phoenix trade. Imagine OKC happened before and then now you trade. They wouldn't even be, people will be hyped, but not like this. You know what I'm saying? Not like, okay. Obviously, some people are still saying, no, they're still going to be weak. They're just looking at it as like an OKC situation. Didn't make the playoffs. Now they're going to make the playoffs and they're going to overachieve a little bit, but still exit. That's how they're looking at it. All right. But I'm not looking at it like that. I'm going to show y'all the real breakdown. Because I don't react. A lot of these guys react to when now they're winning. Oh my God, Booker's really this guy. Oh my God, Chris Paul's really. Oh my God, Ayton's really. This team is really. I foresee because I use IQ. Obviously, you can never know what actually happens. But using IQ, you can make a clear a clear type of you could basically assess what's going on and analyze what's going on and have an assumption based off that. A conclusion based off that, which is IQ. It might not lead to that, but it not leading to that is because now something happens that you can't really judge or can't really think that's going to happen in the moment that you're just assessing. Something like injuries, something like, you know what I'm saying? Now they just fought all of a sudden. Stuff like that. You can't really foresee ever. But if you look at this normal situation, this is normal situation based off this player roster and these guys and this and this and this. I can use IQ based off of my context with this guy, context with this guy, context with this play style, context with this coach. I know what's going to happen and I know in this situation, this and X, Y, and Z. So let's go first off talking about just the trade itself. Who was traded? In case y'all have been under a rock, because you should know by now, but I'm here to enlighten. You already know. So basically the trade that happened was Chris Paul goes to the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns get Chris Paul, an all-star caliber player, not all-star caliber, a superstar caliber player, a Hall of Famer caliber player, and a recent all-star, right? That's Chris Paul. You already know. Like, people don't understand, man. Like, Chris Paul, is elite top tier point guard. Pure point guard that could do scoring. Most pure point guards can't score. Or score by situations. He can do it all. Everything. Defend, assist, play make, score. Like, this is literally the full package at point guard. The most all-rounded point guard is Chris Paul. But because he can play make and do that so much, he doesn't score 40s or 50s, like actively go for it. Because when he's cooking, guys are going to help and he's now diamond. He even cooks as a necessity. He doesn't cook as I need to. He's just elite, just IQ, man. Just IQ, but he has the ability. That's why he's just different. You know what I'm saying? Chris Paul, man. And can defend, steals, all of the whole nine, even at this old age. You know what I'm saying? So let's go look at it and break it down. So Chris Paul, the Phoenix Suns will get Chris Paul. And then the Thunder will get, I lied, my fault. Phoenix Suns will get Chris Paul and Abdel Nader, right? The Thunder will receive Kelly Oubre, Ricky Rubio, Ty Jerome, Jalen Lecque, I don't know how to say his last name, and a 2022 first round pick. All right. So basically, the Thunder just been going for picks. That's all they've been doing. Now, I know people are saying, oh my God, the Thunder, Sam Presti's elite, he's elite. Yes, he's elite. But at the end of the day, most organizations aren't able to get clarity to just, we straight rebuilding, milk the picks. He has clarity because once Paul George and Westbrook said, we out, we don't want to be here, and you traded him, you already know what your direction is going to be now. Young talent, draft picks. Do what we used to do, build through the draft, and hopefully get a Harden, KD, and Westbrook again. That's clearly what their goal is. But it doesn't mean, people are over boosting the wizardry that Sam Presti is doing. Yes, it's wizardry already, but all you have to do is have a mindset of any trade I do, I'm trying to get picks. Most teams have to play two mindsets. A mindset of, I want to be able to have a future and rebuild if I need to, but I also need to win now because I have an all-star caliber player who's not winning, so I need to make him happy. So they don't have the clarity to go in one lane, one mindset. They don't. They're either just lose. They either have a great guy that they have draft. You know what I'm saying? They have nobody to trade. So it's like the trust the process Sixers. They had nobody to trade. They had nobody on their team, right? So they just losing, and then they get guys who now are who are there, and when you get guys through the draft, and now you expect to turn it around. But what happens is you can't go, I'm just gonna trade these guys for picks or trade guys for picks. You have actual all-star caliber potential players, superstar potential players through the draft that you've gotten. Now you need to surround them with winning. Now you need to, now you make trades that's like, okay, now I need to help this guy. Or like, for instance, another situation with Phoenix Suns. Yes, they're losing, but through the draft, they had a guy like Devin Booker. So you don't want to just keep losing. You can't make trades to just, oh, I'm just going to go get future. When you have a guy now that you need to make happy and you want to make him win and maximize him so he stays. So you can't just focus on just get picks for the future. That guy will just leave. Same thing happened in other places. So Sam Presti's in a rare situation that both your guys you have that's bringing box office seats, because every team has an all-star caliber player. Bulls have Levine. Like, it's just they don't make the all-star team based off of their team doesn't win, etc. Like, every team has that all-star caliber type of player. You know what I'm saying? Every team. Even Knicks before they traded him had Porzingis. Like, every team has that. Whether they win or whether it happens or not. Wizards have Bradley Beal. Like, you always have an all-star caliber player on all 30 teams. That's bringing box office, bringing people to the seats. He's elite. There's hope that he could turn it around now or whatever, right? Because obviously in basketball, one player can control so much on the court, defensively, offensively. Like, they can control so much and take over at any time in opposed to any other sport, right? Team sport. So when you're looking for that from that perspective, most teams have to appease or have to think from two lanes, like I said. But finally, PG wants out. Westbrook, I'm out. Trade me. So now I'm trading for Young. Oh, now we can just milk draft picks. We already know what we're doing now. So to me, yes, it's special what he's doing, but it's not, you know what I mean? Like, any GM, if they have clarity that, we have to just build through the draft, they're going to definitely do the same shit. Like, it's not hella hard. It's just, this is the first time I've seen a situation like that in the same year, your two stars have literally been traded for. I can't remember when I've seen that. You know what I'm saying? Like, your triple-double machine and an MVP caliber get traded in the same year. Bruh, like, it's not even like free agents just left. And then you're just going to lose. Like, that's the thing too. Your guys are leaving through your trade. So you literally started this trajectory right. Like, most teams, when they lose, like, let's say like Cleveland, when they lost LeBron, right? He leaves. There's a hole now. It's not like you traded him and got bare picks. There's a hole now. So now it's like you have to just lose and try and get people through the draft. You're forced to play one way, which is the losing situation way, right? When you have a star caliber guy, just leave like that. But when now both are traded for and you have control and you can get something back for him, you already know if there's no actual like superstar available that's like flip, then I'm going for future. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's literally the same thing what Boston did when they had Paul Pierce and thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I digressed again. But anyways, let's go forward and talking about, the trade. So basically that's what the trade happened. And that's been the guys who've been trading, all that, this, that, and the third. But now when we look at it from this perspective, Kelly Oubre got sussed with in the bubble because he was injured. He didn't play. So the fact that now Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges stepped up and replaced his 3-and-D, can score here and there type of role, aggressive, light, electric. That's the role that Kelly Oubre played. Athletic, can shoot, can sometimes create if he needs be, but can defend. Has that grit, has that fire. He didn't play. And then they went 8-0 in the bubble. So it's like, we actually don't really need this guy. If we could, it's not like we don't need him. But we could win without him. And we could actually put him in a package to get a better all-star caliber player. We gonna do it. If Kelly Oubre was playing and was killing, they would have never put Kelly Oubre in the package. They might not even did the trade. You know what I'm saying? They still probably might have because it's Chris Paul. But you know what I'm saying? He might, maybe not. He's an untouchable. Maybe Cam Johnson. Something like that. But the way these two guys have played, like, they're tall guys, lengthy guys. They can defend. Both can defend. Cam Johnson, hella shooting, lights out shooting. And I already know he can actually turn it around and actually become like, he has the stroke, and he looks like he can actually be like a Klay Thompson type of shooter. I mean, obviously, Klay Thompson is hella elite type of shooter, but just his form, the way he shoots it, like, it looks effortless when he shoots. You know what I'm saying? And just the way he's a sniper, he obviously has to work on to be a Klay Thompson coming off the screens, but he's a taller, he's a taller player. So I'm just talking about the stroke, and just when you pass it to him, it looks like guaranteed. It literally looks like it's guaranteed going in. Forget the percentages alone, just the eye test. You know what I'm saying? So he's a knockdown shooter. You know what I'm saying? Can defend. Bridges hasn't been knocked down, but he can be a knockdown, or can be a solid shooter, but his defense is hella elite. So you already have the defense component there. Then you have Dario Saric. Dario Saric obviously is a restricted free agent, but he's someone who at the 4 can play make, can create, can score, can, defend a little bit in the post and stuff like that. Like, he's solid. So people are saying they're not deep, but they're actually pretty solid. Like, they're pretty solid. There's a reason why they went 8-0 in the bubble, right? Not to mention, obviously, Devin Booker, who's supreme. Like, he's actually a superstar, but just because he hasn't been winning, he hasn't been a superstar. He actually right now is a superstar. He's been. Not right now. He's been. So I'll talk about that after. But if you just look at it, the Suns have a good roster. They have a good roster. Obviously, they can make maybe one extra improvement, but this is a good roster. And you look at it from the Thunder side, like I said, they got rid of Kelly Oubre. Ricky Rubio got traded there, then he had a bad week. Bad couple of days, got traded again. Him and Danny Green got traded again. He got traded again, but his was worse. He got traded again for just 2 picks. Like, he got traded just for picks. Like, that's actually atrocious. Got traded back to Minnesota. So whatever. Anyways, he's back in Minnesota. But now in terms of the actual Suns, like what I'm saying with the roster and everything like that, you add Chris Paul. Like, you understand, just look at, I know it's the bubble and all that type of stuff. I understand. People are understanding this is not just it's the bubble situation. You have to apply context. The Suns started off the season winning. People forget that. Obviously, they weren't able to sustain it because DeAndre Ayton got suspended, right? But they started off winning. Devin Booker started off 50, 40, 90, right? And was eating. Now he has to do more playmaking role. I think Rubio got a bit injured or 1-2. Something happened. Then now things started to digress, and they obviously regress back to the mean, whatever people want to say. But they have been in tight games, won close games versus teams. They've been in situations where they've winning, like they're surprising teams, right? And they've been doing that all year long. Now, they did lose more, like I said, due to reasons and things happening. But as now they did the trade and got Saric and all this type of stuff was happening, they've been improving. And the bubble showed you they're for real. Booker has been for real. Booker has to. Remember, you gotta understand, Booker has had players that mans can't even name that he's had since he's came into the league. He's had G League players. You know what I'm saying? He's had players that people can't name. Even on his starting 5. No, I'm talking about off the bench or on his team. I'm talking about on the starting 5. Obviously, I can name them because I know I watch basketball. But the typical person can't name or remember. He's been eating. Not making all-star games, but he's been eating, been losing. Similar to like Cousins, probably even worse because Cousins actually had decent talent in terms of comparison to Booker. Like Booker has 10-day contract type of people, and then they pass it and they stay. Like that's what Booker's been having, if you've been noticing. Okay? So when you look at it from that perspective, Booker hasn't really ever had elite point guards. Mike James, that one guy, you know what I mean? But he came from, like, he hasn't been established, but he's nice. I think he should be back in the league, but he's hella nice. But that's a different discussion. He's mainly had lower tier point guards in terms of what other people have. It's been lower tier, G League type of, G League, maybe, hella backup third string, rotate backup at best point guards as his starting point guards. So Booker naturally has had to play make. He's improved his game. He's been getting double teamed. That's why he said, I don't want to see that shit. I see that shit all season. Obviously, he should master, like Gilbert Arenas has said, and want to see it so you can master and find ways and improve your game in terms of the double team aspect. But he sees it so much, he probably feels like I've already mastered it and I've already, you know what I mean? That's a different discussion. But anyways, he's been double teamed so much that he is forced to play make, and he has to improve his playmaking. Like, you have to, if you watch his if you look at his stats breakdown, you know, he's not just a guy who's been just a scorer, empty stat scorer. Like, came in the league averaging 14, obviously, you know, didn't start as much or whatever. The next year he starts, jumped to 22 points per game. His shooting was still, you know, not as efficient, 42%, not the greatest, but shooting 3%, 3-point percentage, 36. Still always has been above average, always has been a sniper, right? Then the next year, right, goes to 25 points per game, but what he's still only averaging. So he went from 14 points to 22 to 25. In those 3 years, he went from 2.6 assists to 3.5 to now 5 assists. So he's been improving his assists every year. And these are averages, so which means your assists by the bulk is actually increasing. Like just the assists itself counter, right? Total assists. Then the last 2 years, now he's averaging 27 both years. And both years he's averaging 7 assists. Do you understand? Like, to average 7 assists as a shooting guard, not your main position, you're not even, you know, like Harden, I'll bring it up. Like, Booker brings it up here and there and brings it up, and he has to do more usage because mans are struggling. So he's like, okay, I got it, you know? But he's not the point guard. He plays off ball, comes off screens. Like, he's a full package, offensive arsenal type of player. That's what he is. No weakness offensively. Like, literally zero weakness offensively. He's like a KD at the shooting guard position. That's what he actually is. But people won't peep it. People won't take it. But it's okay. It's because he's on a losing team. Right? I get it. So now, look at it from that perspective. 7 assists as a shooting guard? Not bringing up the ball. No, you know, that's like LeBron holding the ball as much as he holds the ball for his whole career averages basically 7 assists. This is his first year averaging 10 plus. So that just tells you the assists that Booker has been doing and the playmaking that Booker has been doing through not just diamond, but been diamond through double teams, through focus, through attention, not rushing shots. That's why his efficiency has been getting up from going from 42, 43, now to 2 years ago, 47, then last year, 49. Understand that on a lot of jump shots. Like, Booker is supreme arsenal. Like, he literally, and this was obviously an all-star this year due to injury, but he is a premium superstar in this league. He just hasn't been on the bright lights. Not to mention his closing ability. The amount of game winners this man has, all ISO, I might go psycho. No screen on any of them. Primary elite defenders on, like, y'all are, bruh, y'all need to understand something. Like, I could separate, like I always said, I can separate ability and I could separate situation. And I can know which ability is designed by this situation and which ability is ability regardless of the situation. And the situation is sussing the ability on the grand scheme to the masses. That was Booker. Booker is someone, like, he scored 70, god damn it. Like, do you understand? Like, I don't care. You know how much people who, like, even if they take all shots, can't score 70? Oh, he was on a bad team, was going to take the shots. People have been on a bad team. They haven't scored 70. LeBron has been on a bad team before he, he went to whatever. He hasn't scored 70. Like, you can, KD has been on a bad team. He hasn't scored 70. KD's different though. He probably could have scored 70. He's been with Westbrook. But he hasn't been in a terrible, like, even his terrible situation, he still had a Westbrook. Only 1 year he's been without Westbrook, rookie year. But LeBron has been on teams without Westbrook, without a, like, top tier guy, and hasn't scored 70. Like, there's been other guys. Wade, there's so many guys. Melo. Booker has scored 70. And it's not just about scoring. Like I said other parts of his game improved. Defense. And not just, if you actually break down Booker's game now, Booker won, maybe a lot of it he was doing on-ball type of scoring. Now, he obviously has come off-ball, but they've even applied more off-ball. He's come off screens, flare screens, back screens, redirecting screens, having screen IQ. Catching it now and then pick and roll off the screen. Not only that, coming off ball screens, catching it at the mid post, high post, going to work off the mano y mano, doing post fades, face ups, run, dribble, stop, hop, pump fake, half spin, shoot, pump fake, shoot. Like the whole arsenal in bad situations, great situations, terrible situations, the game winner versus the Clippers, reverse pivots. Like the arsenal is supreme with Booker. I'm trying to tell, it's supreme. He literally, like, out of the top offensive unlimited bucket getters that I have in like top 5, if I was to mention them in the league, unlimited arsenal, no limitations to their game, I would have to put, you have KD, you have Kyrie, you have Steph, but Steph, I only say he's more limited because his one-on-one ability. A lot of his cooking and this stuff is all in situationals. His one-on-one ability, he does do here and there, but it's nowhere near the bulk of his scoring. Bulk of his scoring comes off of screens, off of relocating, off of shooting from deep, they're not on you, off of, I'm just not to discredit him, I'm just breaking down how he scored. I'm just being real. You know what I'm saying? Off of the one-on-ones he gets is when the primary defender gets screened and now he has Love on him, or he has, he has Steven Adams on him, or he has Rudy Gobert on him, or that's where you see the highlights cooking, they're dancing. That's where you see that. The dancing that and guys are falling. He's not doing that on Kawhi. He does it in Kawhi sometimes. Like obviously you're gonna catch a guy here and there. I'm talking about the bulk. No, when I say the bulk, I'm talking about, again, the majority. It doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Just like if you say that nigga is a terrible free throw shooter, it does not mean he misses every free throw. It does not mean he's 0%. He's gonna make some, but his percentage is 30, is 40. It's terrible. That's why he's a bad free throw shooter. Okay, so when I mean he doesn't ISO in this, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that, it means majority of the times he's not doing that. If you have to if you have to like watch a game and see Steph shoot 10 shots, 10 of those shots are relocating. Majority of those shots are going to be relocating. They come set the screen. Now he's killing the big. They come set the screen. He splits the pick and roll floater or whatever the case is. He comes off transition, shoot from deep, in and out, and he just dancing, moves in transition. So like mans are like running and trailing. Like it's not like one-on-one. You're like this, like you're in stride already. You're kind of like, you're not set. So you kind of you can kill a man when he's running back in transition, trying to guard you, kill him, his momentum. He's not primary set, mono, Pat Bev on you, whatever. That's why he struggles when Pat Bev on him. That's why he's like, you know what I'm saying? Matthew Dellavedova made him struggle for a little bit. Like stuff like that. That's why in the finals, they needed KD because one-on-one ability is not the greatest when it's there and it's intense. It's not. So again, I'm digressing a lot in this video, but I just have to give context for a lot of things that just come to mind. So anyways, like I was saying, top 5 ability for me, when I mean unlimited, it means there's nothing you can't do at a high level without needing help of a screen. That's looking at your one-on-one individual ability. Now, scoring off a screen is an added ability. It is a skill set because now it makes the guys can't get away like that drop coverage man does. The big has to now change. Now you take that big. You can now take that big. Cousins or some guys who can't play pick and roll defense go to the bench. Now there's no rim protection. Like it helps the team and it's team offense, and it's crucial. It doesn't mean it's not like don't ever do it. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like if you were to remove a pick and he's in a situation 7 seconds on the clock, no screen. What is their ability? What is their weaknesses? Some guys like LeBron in those situations, no screen, whatever, they struggle with just shot creating, shooting. Some guys, you know what I mean? Some guys maybe attacking the rim so you can play them tight and it's like, You know what I'm saying? There's all types of different abilities. When I mean no weakness, it means there's nothing you can't do on an island. Threes you could shoot. Shot creating threes you could shoot. Tough threes you could shoot. Difficult pull-ups in the mid-range you could shoot. You can shoot post fades. You can shoot right shoulder, left shoulder, turnaround. You can create step back. You can do half spins. You can do behind the back pull. You can do, you can now create blow by off the dribble, creating off the handle, and you could finish with the off wrong foot lay, with the right hand, with the left hand, inside lay, same side. You know what I'm saying? Floater if you know her. Reverse layup. Euro. Hop step. Awkward fall away. 1 foot fall. So many type of arsenal buckets. The whole wide range of arsenal. There's no limitation. Nothing you can't do. So when I look, that's what I look about unlimited ability. Because it's unlimited, meaning no limitation at all. at all. If you were to guard him, it's like, give that up. Like, there's Kyrie, there's nothing, can't do. KD, nothing, can't do. Devin Booker offensively, nothing, can't do. Who else? Steph Curry, there's limitations, so I won't put him in top 5. Damian Lillard, nothing, can't do. Those are my top 4. Kawhi, he has limitations in certain situations. He can't just pull the 3 at any time. He needs to have it specific. That's why he'll go to them. He goes, like, going to spots, to me, is still limitations. I mean, when you have unlimited, there's no spot. There's no, like, I have to get here. There's like, you just play. That's what I mean, unlimited, no limitations. So those are my top 4. Like, Booker's in that category. Today. There's other guys who obviously are close and itching, but for my deep context, like, I'm adding post to this. Like, Kyrie could post. Dame doesn't post, but I've seen him do a post fade. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no limitations to these guys. There's other guys obviously who are hella close, but I'm being specific when I say no limitations. I mean in like every single category. You know what I'm saying? So again, Booker, like, that's what that just, if you're in that category, it doesn't matter what your team you're on. It doesn't matter if you've been in the limelight. It doesn't matter if you haven't been an all-star. It doesn't matter. CJ McCollum is also close to that category. The only reason why he might not be is because pulling from hella deep, he doesn't do often, but he doesn't need to. But he's on the brink of that category. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's guys like so many guys like that. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm probably forgetting names. If you think of one, just tell me. I'm probably forgetting names. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely probably forgetting names. Paul George is also close to that category, right? Like, Paul George is basically that category, but he struggles in the playoffs. So it's like, oh my God. But one-on-one, like, there's no limitations to him. There's none. It's just more so mentality. Are you going to miss or are you going to hit it? But Arsenal, like ball hand, all of that, there's no limitations to it. He could post fade. He could pull up. He could create one-on-one. He could drive. He could shoot from deep. He could come off the screen. There's no limitation. You know what I'm saying? So Curry's obviously probably in that category too. Like Curry, like those guys, like those 6, 7, 8, like the fact that Booker is mentioned there and y'all don't see it, most people don't see him as that. Like, Booker is supreme, and not to mention his closing. Like, oh man, like, so when you have it like that, and then you add Chris Paul, so now Devin Booker doesn't have to focus on playmaking. That 6, 7, 8 assists that I'm focusing on, because I'm the focal point, can just be added to my points now. That's 8 shots instead. So you add the same efficiency. He goes, let's say 8 shots, he goes 4 for 8. 4 field goals. Even if you do 2 points, that's 8 more points. 26 plus 8, what is that? You know what I'm saying? And then you minus maybe a 1, 2 because it's just averages. Even that's easy 30 points average. Easy. And then you add the free buckets that Chris Paul's gonna give me. I spot up, dying. Backdoor, dying. Easy points where I don't have to go into Arsenal every play. Come off a screen, dying. 1 dribble pull up. Here we go. 1 dribble pull up. Here we go. Like, come on now. Then not to mention you add DeAndre Ayton. Like, people need to understand something. DeAndre Ayton, like, first of all, before we do, Chris Paul, for his whole career, averages 19 points and 10 assists. And only his last two, listen, when he first came in the league, 8 assists first year, 9, 12, 11, 10, 9, 10, 11, 10, then 9. Then he gets traded to Houston. And then even while he doesn't have full point guard duties in Houston and OKC, where he's sharing it, point guard duties, he still averages 8 in Houston, 8 in Houston, then 7 with the Thunder. You guys have to understand what kind of passer and kind of playmaker and kind of IQ you have to be to still be getting high, like to get high assists and high points without being ball dominant. That is different level. That's what people don't understand. Now Chris Paul, like, because, and now he's expanded his game in terms of off ball. He's never played off ball. So that's going to help because now Booker could also ball handle. So now he doesn't even, that, like, Chris Paul's going through a situation. This is why he probably loved it. Yes, he wanted to go to the Clippers and stuff like that because it's like, you know, I'm closer to getting a ring and whatever the case is. And he's at a point where he wants to get a ring. But Now he gets traded to Booker situation. He looks at Booker as like an equal, or if anything right now above me. Like, and he looks at Booker as like one of those KD guys. I know he does. Any real person in the NBA looks at Booker as one of those guys. Like he's on Damian Lillard. He's on those guys' level. It just hasn't been winning because of the situation. And then now going in the bubble with just a decent team. You go 8-0 and bare game winners. And we already know you have bare game winners. Like everyone knows you're a dog at that point. So you got to look at it from this perspective. Chris Paul is in a perfect situation for himself because he now can finally go back to being, I'm the point guard. Like that's what Rondo's seeking as well too. I'm the point guard. There's no share. Like obviously I share with Booker and whatever. I mean like an actual point guard with you sharing. Like a Van Vliet Lowry, a Schroeder, Chris Paul, Shea, you know what I'm saying? Chris Paul, James Harden. Like we sharing point guard duties. Like there's none of that battle. None of that. That shit's gone. It's me every day. Every possession. Off the rebound, hit me. Unless you advance to Booker or he's gone, hit me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm running to the big, I'm running to Ayton like he's like how we used to. Get it and then we push. Like he's going back to I'm the ball handler. So one, that's going to add more years to his career because he doesn't have to just play off ball, trying to score and et cetera, et cetera. He's going to play make, but he doesn't have to like, the playmaking doesn't have to be like crossover. They help now playmake, like you're scoring playmaking. It doesn't have to be that no more because you have a supreme scorer and you can run pick and roll with Ayton. You could literally just be patient, do what you do, and you could prolong your career, kind of what LeBron's doing. But with less of the scoring because he has Booker there like as a wing scorer. LeBron doesn't have a wing scorer, so it's like I'm the wing scorer / the big man, so it's different. But he's entering that type of control part, which most people later in their career don't get that. They don't get that benefit. They get that off ball and they eventually get phased out. But he's in a great situation, so you know what I'm saying? And this is like he could run pick and roll with Ayton. Like Ayton is a dog too. Ayton, people are like, it's like they're not mentioning him. The man averaged 18 and 12. Obviously only 38 games, 32 games, 38, you know what I'm saying? But last year, he even averaged with a whole 70 games, 71. He averaged 16 and 10. Now he averaged 18 and 12 without Chris Paul and 2 blocks without Chris Paul. Now they could do the Chris, Nash Amari back. Come on now. And Ayton could shoot the mid-range, so he's actually advanced Amari before Amari got the mid-range because Amari first was just only punching. Now, eventually he'll stretch it out to 3 like a Chris Bosh, but like, come on now. You have actually a big 3. This is not no mediocre. You know how most now is duos and then maybe like an off-the-bench big 3 or like a guy who's hoping to be a big, like this is a secure, like this is a big 3 you could throw up with back to any big 3 from back in the big 3 era times before this duo happened. Like this is a legit big 3, but mainly obviously we focus on the big 2. But this is like, and it's not like, oh, Chris Paul's going to take away from either of these guys. Like these guys are going to get enhanced together. It's one of those perfect fit situations. We don't cancel each other's lanes. Chris Paul, his lane. Devin Booker, his lane. Ayton, his lane. It's a perfect match made in heaven. And this is why when you have a perfect match made in heaven like this, and the talent is this like this, then you have 3-and-D players around you, not like scorers. So it's not like they cancel each other out. This is a recipe for a shock for a top 3 seed. I'm telling y'all. Like, a lot of people have just been saying, oh my God, it's the OKC. Like last year, they will shock and go. Like this man you understand, Chris Paul took a team that was lottery bound and became 4th seed. So are you going to take a team that's basically, even without Chris Paul, that could have made 7th or 8th seed? Where are you going to take them to? OKC didn't have no Booker. OKC didn't have no Ayton. Even forget they didn't have no Booker. Like OKC, Chris Paul was the all-star. Suns, Booker already is the all-star there. Now you add in yourself, so you might have 2 all-stars. Bro, like I'm trying to tell y'all, man, like this team is going to be way better than most people think of. I'm telling you right now. Like they actually might oversee and take over what the Nuggets was basically doing. Because the Nuggets might try and add too much. They might lose Jeremy Grant. You don't know. So they might digress a little bit. Obviously not too much. But the jump that I expect the Suns to take, like I'm someone who's I'm going to go on the limb on this. I'm telling y'all, it's not a popular opinion. It's not, all this type of stuff. But I'm going to go on a limb and I'm going to basically say that like this is something where I see these guys as a top 4 seed. I see it. And then now Golden State is a bit digressed now with the Klay Thompson thing or injury, which I still think Golden State is they're going to be crucial. Like Wiggins will just have to put in more. Nico Mannion might have to do a 1-2, you know what I mean? Like James Wiseman might have to just get in his bag more, right? Like instead of being like a pick and roller like Bogut or whatever, he will shoot like he might average the same. He might be an Ayton, you know what I'm saying? And that enough. If you have a Steph Curry and James Wiseman doing what he's doing, like doing like an Ayton type of thing with more rim protection and stuff like that. So that itself, that combo itself, pick and roll like those alleys, like and with Draymond, like that combo itself is enough to get you a top 4 seed. You know what I'm saying? Without Klay, so they're still going to be in good position. Don't get it twisted. Obviously, they need Klay for championship aspirations, but they're still going to be like a top tier team. They're kind of like one of those teams that could be either top 4 or they could be 5-6. Like that's where they're looking at. But I digressed again. But I'm looking at the Suns, like I don't see the Suns 8th seed, 7th seed, 6th seed. Like I see the Suns actually might even do better than the Mavericks. That's what I'm looking at. Like you see the Mavericks was a 6th seed. Like I'm seeing the Suns like doing better than like Utah. Like I'm seeing like I have high hopes for them. I'm just telling you, I have high hopes for them. OKC already was 4th seed, like better than all those teams. I see the Suns being better than OKC. That Chris Paul was last year. Like I see the Suns, and then you have you have 2 closers now because Chris Paul was a supreme closer. Then you have Booker, who's a supreme closer. So if a playoff series comes up and it's a 4 or 5 situation during Game 7 versus Houston, Suns is winning that. If they're in a situation in a 7-game or a tight series or even 5, like any series, like the Suns is a team that anybody they play, they could beat in that series. They might not, but they actually can. You could actually bet on them to be like they're. It's not like it's literally like a 60-40 or a 50-50. Like it's not one of those. Oh, they should lose and then they like. It's not even if they upset to everyone else will be upset. To me, it's not. Like Booker is a Kobe type of guy. Like you have to understand. Then you match him with Chris Paul. This is what Chris Paul wanted. When he wanted to play with Kobe, he got the younger version. It's ironic how it works out. You know what I mean? Everything happens for a reason. Like Booker's gonna even get more unleashed. That dog, that fight, Chris Paul, he's there with Booker like that. Bruh, they made the trade one day. These men are working out together. One day. The trade, I don't even know was finalized. One day. Literally the next day. They're in the Phoenix working out. Do you understand? Like, bruh. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. Like, I don't know. It's just, again, maybe it's just my IQ. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe it's just he likes Booker. It's not even just he likes Booker. I'm just using IQ and logic, man. I'm just using IQ and logic. Like, if they just pick up one more, that'll even make them better. But their current roster right now, if they keep Saric, the same roster they had last year, without Oubre, you add Chris Paul, I'm telling you, if you fight even the Lakers right now, let's say they improve the roster to be in a 7-game series with the Phoenix Suns, I'm telling you, if you lose a game you're not supposed to lose, like this is not like, oh my God, the Denver Nuggets making history. Like this is like, I'm expecting them to do what Denver is doing. Or Denver did. Like, not like come back from 3-1. Like, they won't even be down 3-1. Like, this, like, any clutch game. Like, what Miami, see how Miami was? That's what I'm expecting from the Suns. That's perfect example. They're under the radar, 5th seed, 4th seed. But their matchup and how they move and their demeanor and their dogging them is like a champion. That's what I expect from the Suns. Even if they're young. Like, Miami has young guys. That's what I expect from the Suns. Why? Because the Chris Paul, the Butler, that magnitude of dog, that cloth. But the Heat don't have a Booker. Yo. And Booker's a dog too. So listen, I just have high hopes for them. Sorry to make this video long, you know what I mean? I'm definitely not done with this. We already know, and Ayton is that guy too. So I'm just telling you, man. I just have high hopes, man. Supreme high hopes. Like, I'm telling y'all, if they don't do what I'm saying, something drastic. And you have Monty Williams, like, I'm telling you, man, it's just dogs all around. Dogs all around. Listen, I'm going to be still continuing, with videos. There's a lot happening that happened this week. Free agency officially will open up 6 p.m. tomorrow. Definitely going to be, doing stuff on that, what the moves was. I was waiting a bit because I don't know, these trades was happening. Everything seems so rushed. I expected that a Bogdanovich thing to happen where it's like he kind of like canceled the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to do a video and then it's like and talk about all the shit and it didn't. Some of the shit got capped and then it gets redirected. Some niggas are traded because through the draft. You know how sometimes in the draft trades happen. Like this is the one time where the draft and the trades and free agency, like they're kind of like, because the pandemic, they're kind of right beside each other. Close. They're always right beside each other, but not like this with the trades and stuff like that in the same week, right? So I didn't want to do a video on this and then literally I post it and then they trade Chris Paul and then they flip it and then or they add another big piece and I now have to do a next video twice. Like, you know what I'm saying? So now that the draft has happened, I get clarity. The Suns is the Suns right now. Obviously they might add more pieces. All these teams might add more pieces, but I'm going to be doing more videos. Obviously we know the Raptors had, I don't know how they didn't get Miles Powell. The guy that they drafted is like a Van Vliet type of player. Better. He is a Van Vliet type of player, but his shot form is better equipped for shot making than Van Vliet. He's still a miniature guard. He's still the Van Vliet type. Even his demeanor looks like Van Vliet. I already said it from time that that just tells me that Van Vliet most likely is out the window. Because why would you get basically a lookalike, a replacement, a play style type like you know what I mean? Because again, he's not just only supposed to be a Van Vliet. He's not supposed to only just be a Van Vliet replacement. He's also supposed to be like, in case Lowry next year is not there and they don't get nobody in free agency, they have a replacement point guard, he backup point guard, then becomes starting point guard, and this is the future they'll kind of go with. That's what it kind of seems like to me. You know what I'm saying? Because Van Vliet is too expensive to do that. That's what it looks like. Doesn't mean it's true. Doesn't mean I'll go more in depth with the whole Raptors situation. I'm going to go more, especially with the draft and then this Van Vliet stuff going on. I'm going to go more in depth with that, especially in Ibaka and all this type of stuff. We still got these rumors with obviously the Harden, Durant, and Kyrie kind of pairing that they're trying to look forward to. Westbrook demanding a trade, Harden demanding a trade. There's a lot of stuff happening. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go in depth with all of that. Obviously, we have the Drew Holiday trade, which is a big trade that I'm still going to talk about. Bogdanovich, saying, nah, forget that shit. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of stuff happening, right? Danny Green traded. We're going to talk about a lot of things. I'm going to keep doing videos. We got more videos coming tomorrow. I'm probably going to be doing maybe a double tomorrow, again, talking about these trades. And just more things happening, man. Just giving you that IQ because that's what I do. You feel me? Anyways, it's True Talks because True Talks. A lot of things happening. LaMelo Ball going to the Hornets. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Wiseman. You have Anthony Edwards. A lot of stuff happening. So draft day happened. Again, congrats to all the draft picks. All the players who got drafted. Congratulations to you. The ones who were undrafted. Keep your head high. They can still sign you. There's still 2 weeks. There's still G League. You know what I mean? I don't know if there's gonna be a winter league. It doesn't look like, but there's still situations. Actually, I don't even know if there's G League. But you know what I mean? It's not over. It's not over. Put your heart on your shoulder and let's get it. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, again, this is what Elite looks like. You already know. It's True Talks, because True Talks. Share, like, and subscribe. We out here. There's no doubt here, and there's no drought here. And if anybody is actually here to buy, who wants to buy the Xbox Series X, comment below. You know what I mean? Or go to my Twitter or go to my IG and DM me. But if you comment below, I'll still see it. And we can go into those talks. You ready? Know? You feel me? We out here. There's no doubt here. And there's no drought here. You ready? No. And I'm out, man.